Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Bodybuilding. Mountain. Hey, can you see this? Yeah? I'm gonna have to get a microscope lens there so you can see my muscles. Yeah, they're not big enough yet. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about momentum and body English and basically using form that is not super strict. And I'll tell you a story back in the day when I was training in the gym, when I was 20 years old, 21 years old, I'd see a lot of different ways of training. And I noticed a lot of guys who trained super strict all the time, they were stuck getting no results. They looked decent, they looked okay. They were plateauing at a certain level. Now, I knew one or two guys, maybe not so much. They had an easy time putting on muscle mass, but I knew a lot of guys that were doing the super strict, super slow reps. They seemed to never change. Now, I'm not saying that super strict reps are bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you're stuck at a plateau, sometimes a bit of momentum can help you break through that barrier because you can handle a bit of heavier poundages and you can get past those sticking points and then challenge those other points that can still contract very strongly. You see this with the arm curl. Sometimes if there's a little bit of body English, a person can get through the bottom part, but then they can still put a lot of stress on the bicep in the majority of the movement, even though that first part, they might not be getting as much stress because they're kind of using a bit of momentum. But this is not the only time where it's also the right thing to move the body. Like I get this, I've had this misunderstanding from people a lot of times when it comes down to pull-ups or into arm curls, where they say, oh, you have to just go straight up and down and don't lean back, or you're moving the body around, so you're doing something wrong. But sometimes repositioning the body can assist you with isolating the muscle group you want to hit. So a lot of times you'll see me when I'm doing arm curls, my shoulders will come forward and then back, but I'm not necessarily swinging the bar like this, but I'm trying to put my body in a right position to arm curl, to basically feel where that stress is acting up. And of course, you know, my individual situation exponentially contributes to this because I do have a torn labrum from hockey injuries and this one as well. So I always get shit from people when I mention this, these hockey injuries, but the problem is that if you're a new subscriber here, you won't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, so I have to mention it. So I'm not like one of those old guys like, you should see what I did to myself back in the day. I'm just trying to be specific and help you understand. But sometimes when you work with the body and let the tension of the muscle guide you through the movement, you'll notice that there are times that being too strict actually works against putting more tension on the muscle. And that's when you should look at the exercise and possibly change it, or at least experiment with new variations of the exercise instead of sticking with the super strict accepted form. And that's where I think a lot of people get caught up. And then they, of course, hate on people that don't use super strict form at times. And the truth is that this is born from a huge misunderstanding. It's the unaware people, or people that don't have the awareness of their own body, judging the people who are aware of how the tensions are playing out because they can obviously feel it. They can actually sense it. Now, this does not mean if you're getting results from super strict form that you're doing something wrong. You're obviously doing something right for you. And by all means, continue to do that. But sometimes you'll notice that sticking point becomes the weak link in the entire chain of the exercise. And by breaking through that a bit, you can put more stress on the muscle. And you see powerlifters do this with partial reps. You see all sorts of Olympic athletes do this with different types of partials and elastic bands and all this sort of thing, because they're trying to put the stress on the muscle where it can handle it, but not be impeded entirely by the weak link. Now, of course, the super smart guys in the comments, or sometimes the guys that think they're smart, will say, don't you want to work on the weak link? And I'm going to say, of course, but you're already working on the weak link just by doing the exercises, period. But if your exercise is always stalled constantly by the weak link, then there's a whole plethora of muscles that are not stimulated, and you want to access those too. So yeah, you can do the strict reps, you can do the super strict form, but also remind yourself, I don't know how you're gonna do that, but you set your watch or your phone or something, I don't know, set an alarm, I don't know, get your friends to tell you, but remind yourself that there is also a time and place for a bit of momentum to get past those sticking points in order to put on more muscle. Mountain. So yeah, I hope this helps out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the page supporters, and take care for now.